But Michael Sweet of Stryper. Michael, have you done cruises before as a player?
No, this is the first. First cruise I've ever been on.
Really?
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. Tell how have you liked it? What's the experience been like?
It's been great. I mean, it really unique and different, enjoyable, but yet not as enjoyable as I would like because we got here late. We had some issues in Michigan, so we were very late getting here, and it's just been kind of a blur ever since we've been here. I haven't really had time.
If you got here on time, it would still be a blur.
Okay, yeah, probably.
Because I was here on time, and it's still a blur. But you got explain about what you went through to get here, because you were kind of dropped in the middle of the cruise.
Right. We did a show in Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie, at a casino with Lynch Mob and Slaughter. And our agent, and Larry Morin, who manages Lynch Mob, they suggested that we do this. They thought it would be a great gig to do. And I was a little iffy about it. I said, well, we're not leaving, the room for error. If we have a problem, we're screwed, and that's exactly what happened. We got on the plane and one of the engines wasn't working, and we were screwed. Yeah. We had to catch a bus to Detroit and catch a late flight to Fort Lauderdale. We couldn't find a hotel room because of February vacation. So literally when we got here, we had no sleep. It was a 34-hour ordeal. We were supposed to play when we got on the ship. And we, of course, weren't able to. So it was kind of crazy. Wow.
Talk about, if you can, and again, I mean, it was stunning to me, as it always is, to hear Stryper, the way you and Oz lock in on both guitar and vocally is pretty incredible. Where does that come from in the band's sound? Where is that? It's this wall of sound of vocal and guitar that is so unique to what Stryper is. And what made that, where did that influence come from for you?
We've known each other forever, Oz and I. We met each other in high school, actually, when I was a freshman. And he was a junior, and I used to bum rides from him to his dad's upholstery shop, which got me halfway home. And on our way there, we would listen to Yesterday and Today, and UFO, Scorpions, and just listen to the guitar-oriented, vocally-oriented music, and those are our influences and what we cut our teeth on. And then we worked hard at trying to come up with our own unique thing guitar-wise, because we're not really shredders, we're not half the guitar players that this guy is. But we tried to work out harmony parts that were unique and had a melodic thing going that would be memorable. We were just talking about. And we worked hard at that. We really did. And worked for hours to work that out. Same thing with vocals. We worked hard at the harmonies, 3-part harmony vocals. So it's just a lot of work, man, over the years. And just being able to, it's the original lineup. So we're able to retain that, hopefully, that original sound. It's kind of neat. That's
an interesting and important angle, because I was talking about to some folks about this the other day. If you look at bands, 70s, 80s bands, whatever, even 90s bands to some degree, you can count on one hand, for one reason or the other, how many have the original band still intact.
Here's
and you have
right
two right here with
Yeah.
Cinderella and Stryper. And I mean, I know that there's, for a brief time it wasn't the case with Stryper.
For a brief moment, yeah, but I mean,
same with you guys. Yeah.
Right. But now it is, and it is unique. It's really, it feels good to say that, because there is something to be said for that. That doesn't always work out, but it did for us, and we were able to come together and work out our differences and continue on as a band. Tim, Rob, Oz, and myself, and it's very cool to be able to offer that and say that. And I think that's, like I said, that's a big part of the sound. You're hearing the original guys playing the parts, that were recorded back in '83 and '4 and '5, and it's kind of cool.
Well, I know the last thing that you guys put out was an album I liked a lot called The Covering, where you mentioned, you covered UFO and Van Halen and Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and all these bands that you grew up, loving,
Yep.
and did the Stryper take on those songs,
Yep.
Which I thought was really cool, a cool project. talk a little bit about that and what you have coming up for the future for the band.
Well, we did, the first time we recorded a cover was Peace of Mind, Boston song. And we did that because, you know, I was able to miraculously somehow be a part of that. And I toured with them in '08. And we asked Tom if he would be a part of the recording on that. And it was the first project he ever did outside of Boston. So that was kind of cool. So we did a cover of that. And that kind of opened the door to the possibility of, hey, maybe we'll do a cover album, you know, down the road and show people where we come from and where our roots lie and how we became the band that we are musically speaking. So we felt like it was a good time to do that, and we recorded the covering, and you know, it's got, like you said, UFO, Van Halen, Deep Purple, you know, and those were our early influences, and then we moved from those bands into you know, Maiden and Priest, a little more metal, wow, kind of stuff. And it was just a record for us to roll up our sleeves and have a good time and not have to really think as much about the process. I mean, we learned the parts and arranged the parts, but we didn't have to think about the lyrics, writing the lyrics, and you know, writing the songs, and it made it just more all about fun. It wasn't so stressful. And it was one of the funnest records we've ever made, and it got, you know, you seem to like it, which is really, you're a tough critic, man. So
yeah, he is.
So it was just fun, man, and I think that's what comes through in the tracks. And it's not about trying to outdo those bands or those songs, but just paying our respects to those bands because they influenced us. They made us who we are.
Right.
You know?
And just in wrapping up, what's the future plan for Stryper? Do you have any?
We're working on a re-record record, which has kind of been there, done that, you know, and there's many reasons why we're doing it. And then we have 2 new songs on that record, and that's coming out in 12 sometime, latter part of 12. And we're working on a solo record and a book that's coming out in the summertime. And then Stryper's going to do an all-original record next year sometime.
And have you talked to Tom Scholz at all? Because I hear Boston might go do something.
I'm not. I officially departed.
Okay.
And because there was just so much not knowing what was happening, and Stryper is doing more and more things. So I wanted to, you know, devote my time to my original band, and I went live with the press release and said I'm just, you know, departing, and you know.
Not an easy gig though to be able to, you know. I mean, very few
No,
people
it
can
wasn't, man.
sing Brad Delp stuff.
Yeah,
it was tough singing More Than a Feeling, and you know, some of those songs they're definitely difficult songs, but I had a blast doing it.
That's cool.
It's a great one for the resume.
Yeah, no fooling.
not like you need a new gig, but
actually, we played, just a little side story. We played with those guys just when they switched from the opening act to a headliner.
Oh, yeah.
And they just, I mean, they literally were just opening.
So way back.
Yeah, I mean, it was their first album release.
Yep.
And they went out on the road for like 3 weeks or something. I don't know, maybe they were opening for Blue Oyster Cult or something like that, I think it was. And their agent just said, wow, we just took off on the radio big time. We're switching over to headliner, right? So we played the second show that they ever played as a headliner with them at the Santa Monica Civic, and I was talking to Brad and all the guys, and I was like, and he was like shaking his boots. He was like, I goes, we only know the songs that, you know, that we learned from the guitar player, and we don't know anything else, and now we're a headliner, and we can only play these songs on the record. So we'll play a short set.
And they're tough songs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so he says, yeah, they call us back for an encore, and we play a blues jam. And he goes, and then we just repeat some of the songs, you know. And then we played a couple of days later at the Winterland in San Francisco with them, and it was an amazing show. And you know, again, they had to come out, and it goes, we don't know any of these other songs. Can we play More Than a Feeling for you again? And of course, everybody went crazy. But it was like, wow, what a position to be stuck in, you know.
They just exploded overnight.
Exactly,
I mean, they went from here to here, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.